The sun had low in the sky, casting a warm, cold glow over the hills as Eve and Lara walked side by side, though not quite together. The path beneath their feet was soft and winding, leading them away from the town, away from everything that had become their new, fragile peace. The world around them was alive with the rustling of leaves, the distant call of birds, but there was an oppressive quiet between them and that neither of them seemed able to shatter. Even watched Lara as she walked ahead of him, her figure framed by the light filtering through the trees. Her strides were steady, confident, but there was something in the way her shoulders held tension, in the slight rigidity of her movements, that unsettled him. She was herself, or at least, not the Lara he knew, the Lara he had fought beside, the Lara he had always been so sure, so constant. He Callan recalled when the change had happened, but now, standing in the quiet after the storm, it felt like there was an invisible wall between them. Lara, even called, his was soft, hesitant, unsure how to breach the distance between them. She didn't stop walking, but her pace slowed just a little, and if that he could catch up. When their eyes met, there was something in them deep, something unspoken. She didn't look afraid, exactly, but there was a kind of emptiness there that twisted in Evan's chest. What is it? Even, her voice was flat, and he hated how hollow it sounded. I don't know what's going on, he said, frustration creeping into his words. You've been so quiet. It's like he struggled to find the right words, the ones that would not make her retreat even more, like you're holding something back, from me, from us. Her lips pressed together, a faint line appearing between her brows, but she didn't answer right away. The air between them thickened with the weight of things unsaid, and even felt the familiar sting of doubt rising in his chest. Maybe it's not something I can share right now, she finally said, her gaze dropping to the path beneath their feet. I don't even know if I understand it myself. Evan's heart clenched at her words, at the way she deflected him, turned inward. He had always believed in her, in the strength she carried, in the way she never allowed herself to crumble. But now, she seemed so lost. Liar, please, he stepped closer to her, his voice trembling with a desperation he hadn't realized was there. You're not alone in this. And we've always been a team. I don't know what's happened, but if you're carrying something, I want to help you carry it. For a long moment, she didn't respond. The silence stretched, and even felt his pulse quicken. This was just about the storm anymore, about the fight they had endured. This was something deeper, something older. It was about the cracks between them, the quiet unraveling of the bond they had once shared without question. I don't know who I am anymore. Even, Lyra's voice cracked, so well he almost didn't hear it. The words hit him like a fist to the gut. He had expected him to confer confusion, maybe even anger, but not this. Not a feeling of loss. I thought the storm had defined me, she continued, her eyes far away. That it was the only thing that gave me purpose. I fought for it. I survived it, but now there's nothing left to fight for, nothing left to hold on to. Effen's mind raced, and for a second, he felt like he was drowning in her words, in the rawness of her pain. He wanted to tell her it was true, that she was defined by the storm, that he was so much more than the battle they had fought. But the truth was, he was sure anymore either. Lara, he began, his voice trembling, but she cut him off, her tone breaking with the weight of unspoken sorrow. Maybe I've only ever been surviving, Ethan. And now that it's over, I don't know what's left of me. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I don't know if I can ever be whole again. The silence between them deepened, thick and suffocating. He could feel the distance stretching between them, the weight of herself hanging in the air. How could he fix this? How could he make her believe in herself when she was so far from believing it? I've always known you, Lyra, he said, his voice gentle but firm. He reached out, his fingers brushing the back of her hand. It was a simple touch, but it felt like an anchor. I've known you in ways no one else ever will. I've seen the way you love, the way you care. You're not just the person who fought. You're the person who he'll do. You're the one who stayed strong, even when I thought I could go on. That's who you are. You've always been more than just a survivor. Lyra didn't pull away, but she didn't respond right away either. He saw her shoulders relax just a fraction, but her gaze was still distant, like she was somewhere else entirely, somewhere he couldn't reach, even. I don't know if I can believe you, she said softly, her voice trembling now. I don't know if I can believe in myself anymore. I built everything around the fight. I don't know what I am when the fight's over. You're you, even whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Not the fight, not the storm. You, and that's all I need. All we need. She turned toward him then, her eyes brimming with something raw, something desperate. Like she wanted to believe him but couldn't quite bring herself to. I'm scared, she admitted quietly, scared that without the fight, without the storm there's nothing left. That I've lost myself along the way. Even reached her then, pulling her into him, his arm holding her close. It was the perfect fix. It was the grand gesture of redemption, but it was all he had to offer. I don't know what the future holds. Liar, he murmured, his voice thick with the weight of all they had shared, all they had lost and rebuilt. But I know there's an opening anywhere, and I'll walk through this with you, however long it takes. No matter how many storms come, because I believe in you. And you don't have to be anyone but yourself for me to love you. For a long moment, Lara didn't see anything, but her body softened against his, her head resting on his shoulder, her breath shaky. I don't know if I'm ready to believe in myself yet. She whispered, her words soft, broken, but maybe I can try. For you. For us. Even held her tighter, feeling the weight of her words settle into his chest. It was the resolution he had wanted, but it was enough, because in that moment, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in shadows, he realized that their journey was just about surviving the storm. It was about learning how to live after it, together. And as they stood there, holding each other in the quiet, even knew that whatever came next or what it they became would be enough, because they were finally learning to believe in the beauty of the silence between them, the kind of silence that was filled with fear or doubt, but with the simple understanding that they had each other, and that was all they needed.